we can register the payments or the receipts of the payment from the customer. Okay, so the same method applicable to the supplier as well when we are doing the payment to the supplier. Okay, so let's take the example of customer. So there are three different ways we can register the payment of the customer. Okay, so let's say that the first method is that against a single invoice. For example, this particular customer is giving a complete payment or a partial payment against this particular invoice. In that sense, you will choose that invoice, whichever we want to register the payment or we are receiving the payment. Then we will click on register payment. Then we will choose the corresponding cash or bank. How did we get, or we will select any of the bank or any of the cash. Then we will mention how much we received. Either we can put the complete value so that the invoice will be completely paid, or you can put the partial amount what we have received. Okay, so the remaining will be kept as open, and in the memo you can put the receipt number or a payment reference or whatever, we can put that memo as a description. Okay, then you create the payment. So this is how you do the first type of payment. Here I have done a partial payment, so it is marked as partial. If you come down, I'll be able to see that the payment is done on so and so day. If I click on here, I'll be able to get all the details of that payment, how did I pay and everything, and how much is the amount, how much is paid, and how much is remaining, everything that we can see in a single go. The second method of payment is paying multiple invoices at once. Okay, but it's the exact amount of multiple invoices. For example, let's the customer is paying for this invoice, and this invoice together. You can select like this, and then you can click on register payment over here. Okay, on the click of this register payment, you can click on group payments. Okay, so that a single payment will be taken in consideration. Total amount is has already come over here. Then you can put what is a receipt number or transfer details. Then you can click on create payment. So what happens is those invoices are already got paid. Okay, a payment is been registered like this, and it is reconciled against these three invoices. Okay, so in this case, if you take a printout of this receipt payment, you will be able to see that the all the details corresponding to that invoices. Okay, when we open that, we can see that, you see, the payment of 140,000 is done, and this bank payment invoice number so and so is been allocated here, and this invoice and the balance of that particular invoices are zero. Like this you can get a details. Okay, so the third way of doing the payment is you come to the customers. For example, here when I come over here, I can see that the total due amount for this customer is 142,000 real. Okay, so let's say the customer pays a random 100,000 real. So how do you do that? For that, you can come to customer again, you can choose on payments. Okay, then you click on new and create a new payment, and you will choose that particular customer, and you put the value, let's say 100,000, then put the date. Okay, when did they pay, give the memo or TT number or receipt number, whatever it is. Then choose a journal to which bank I received the payment or which cash I received the payment. Then you will click on confirm. Okay, on this confirm, it is just mentioned that this payment is being received. Okay, so if you take the statement of this particular customer, the balance will be decreased. However, this particular amount is not allocated to any of the invoices. Okay, now what we're gonna see is regarding this customer, how we can reconcile happens. Reconciliation in the sense matching the payment that we received to the invoices. Okay, so coming to this, you can see that a couple of invoices aren't paid, something is partially paid, something is not paid, right? So how do we reconcile is, you see, there are also three different methods. First method is that whenever we are creating a register payment against an invoice, automatically the reconciliation is also happening. So we don't have to worry about that. That is the first method of reconciliation. Second method of reconciliation is when we did the payment for that 100,000. What is happening here is if you click on any unpaid invoice, you will be able to see that you will be seeing a blue banner like this, ribbon like this, where it is mentioning that there is an outstanding credit for this customer. So if I come down, I can see that 100,000 is been here, and have an option to add it manually to this particular invoice. Okay, when I click on this, I can mention how much I should add. For maybe they are just mentioning 10,000 for this invoice. Like that also you can specifically put and allocate that value. Okay, or you can, when we are doing that, automatically the 90,000 100,000 came down to 90,000. You can add another. If you want to completely add, you can just click here, and you can put the complete value. Okay, so that way also the invoice will be can be reconciled. Okay, another way of reconciliation is that we can go to the this payment itself while we are doing the payment. For example, Amir did a payment of 100,000. You can select this customer, or you can go to the customers and select this customer. How, whatever is easy you can do. Then click on action, then is reconcile. Okay, under action there was a button called reconcile. On clicking of this reconcile button, you see all the outstanding payments which is given by the customer will be shown over. This is the account that we can see over here, and here we can see that there is a customer payment of 100,000 is being given. Okay, so I can just click on here, so it is taken over here. Now I can choose some invoices against which I want to do the reconciliation. For example, I chose that invoice, so right now that invoice is added. I have selected this one as well, so another this much of amount is added. Okay, so this together itself is coming more than 100,000. So here for this particular invoice of 86,000, they are allocating 70,000. Or I can just remove this and I can add these two invoices. So this is also completely managing, this is also completely taken, and there are still amount remaining. Okay, so for that reason I can click on the another invoice like this, so it will try to allocate whatever is remaining for it. For example, 43,000 is being allocated. Now once I click on like this, what I can do is I can just click on this reconcile button. Okay, and if I go back to that invoices of that particular customer, okay, you will be able to see that most of the invoices are being in paid status. Okay, this is how you reconcile, and here the remaining, which is partially reconciled, is coming over here. So whenever you take any invoice, you'll be able to see that what are the invoices which they what are the payments against which they are reconciled. You can get a complete details like this. Okay, this is how you do the register payment and reconcile the invoices. This is the same procedure for vendor bills as well. Okay.